There she is home. Hello. It is Sunday morning, the last day of November. Thank goodness, this has been an intense month. It's been an intense year. It's been an intense decade. Holy shit. It's Sunday. I'm going to try not to swear so much, but I thought I would I've been working overtime on the Earth Angel project. I'm so ready for it to end. It covers such heavy topics. But not, that's not the only part of the Earth Angel project. I mean, it's an important part. It's the history, it's the storytelling, it's the past. But the Earth Angel project also gives me such hope, and I really am so grateful. I learn so much from the Earth Angel project, I've expanded a lot, just, allowing myself to work on this project. I'm lighting my sandalwood. It's reminding me of India. I've already saged my place. It's been the energy. I've been a little intense lately, so I wanted to. My feelings have been a little intense lately, so I wanted to make sure that I cleansed the house a little. I did not go out this weekend. I was thinking about taking myself out to dinner today, even though almost everything is closed in Utah. But I looked out the window, and what did I see? Rain. And it's very cold. So I think I may just be staying in. Come here, Pancho. Come on. Staying in with my little Panchitos. My stinky boy. Look at this handsome boy. He's the most handsome boy in the world. Yes, you are. My little piggy boy. There's been a lot of energy in this house this weekend. A lot. Look, this last week. Had at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other people, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to. I'm grateful for where I'm at, but I'm really looking forward to living on my own again, by myself. Just with, well, not by myself, but me and Pancho and Dove. Because it genuinely feels like I can't get a moment to myself. Stop, Pancho. Anyway, come on. So, thought I would jump online real quick. It was nice and quiet for a second. And I thought I would just update on the Earth Angel novella. Like I was saying, it's been kind of dark lately. And it's a little frustrating for me, because I do take it personal. Even though it's a fictional story, it parallels so much to what is actually happening in my life. And, my life is it's not bad at all. I mean, God, I'm learning so much, and I'm loving myself so much. But, do I wish things were different? Absolutely. I wish I had my daughter full-time living with me. I wish I was able to work a job that paid me sufficiently enough to have my own place and my own car, and not have to live check to check. I wish I could take a much needed vacation, go to a beach? Absolutely. It's been 2 years since I've been to a beach, Pancho. over 2 years. Um, do I wish okay. So, yes, I am looking forward to my own space. So, I have sending good energy to my roommate, hopefully. Wow, her boyfriend left and the mask is down. That's what happened. Her boyfriend's been here for 5 days and and now it's like, yikes. I think we all can relate to that at some point. I'm glad not to be there in my life anymore. Don't mean that judgmentally. I mean, I was there not that long ago. But, so the Earth Angel Project. We touch on that a little bit before I jump into a new Earth, which is important. I posted something on there about it's getting hot and heavy in the Earth Angel Project. Your brilliance speaks louder than their lies about you. The lies, they all tell lies. So, again, I am tired of the Earth Angel Project. However, I'm also very grateful for it because had I not taken on this project, I never would have learned as much as I have just about energy work. I never would have, and these are always things that have interested me, honestly. Like energy work, my chakras. I had a huge interest in them back in 2004, 2005, when I first went to India. And life got me busy and I never followed through. Plus, it kind of went against, I hadn't totally divorced the Christianity, Mormonism, you know? And so I felt a little weird about believing in Reiki and looking at God as the universe or energy or source versus a demiurge, you know, or some sort of jealous, mean God that I had been raised with that only wanted me to worship him. And interesting, you know, being raised in the Mormon church. They believe in such a really, if you really study the Mormon church, they have some really crazy ideologies. And honestly, there's a little bit of truth in some deception, just like in life. You know, that's, you find like the QAnon, I know, it sounds crazy, I'm not a QAnon person, but there is a little bit of truth in some of the stuff that they say. There may be, I believe, there is an evil cabal. I hate to call them that, but I do. I believe there's parasites out there. We see it every day. We see it in the leadership. We see it in the businessmen who you know, put profit over people, who would not hesitate to take away, to have lives eliminated just to see more profit share. I mean, you really do see stuff like that. But anyway, it was really interesting last night. I started off pretty good in the morning, and then I just, it was very heavy yesterday, and there was a lot of noise, there was a lot of people, and I was in my room with Poncho most of the night, and I placed an order to have delivered, and that didn't even show up, which worked out well. But I was frustrated. Took a while to fall asleep. But I did see something, I worked a little bit on the Earth Angel Project. I started watching, I will never get that time back, Mom Talk. I'm not watching the show. I'm not at all. But I like watching podcasts. And some of my favorite podcasters were talking about it. And these are supposedly women that are Mormon or were raised in this area, that are like the latest reality series. And yeah, I didn't feel good about watching it. I really didn't. I was not impressed with the messages that were coming out. I mean, I'm glad to see that they're bringing more visibility to the church in the sense of the hypocrisy, because they're all hypocrites. I was too, but it's really weird to see, like, I was old school Mormon, like I would never have dressed like that and claimed to be an upstanding member or talk about soft swinging and things like that. It's just so weird for me. And then to see how many people like admire them and want to be like them, and sure, they share vulnerability in drama that they fucking create themselves. It's I didn't feel good about it, so I do not want to watch it. And with the exception of two of them, they all voted for Trump. I mean, and the lead one, the one that who was glorifying domestic violence, and I mean, it's just kind of sad that she got popular when her arrest was made public in the videos, and everyone felt sorry for her. And the only thing I do feel sorry for is the crappy parents that she has, but that explains a lot. I wish they used their platform to talk about other things, like how horrible the doctrine is in that church and how it's destroyed them. And yes, they may look like plastic bubble heads, and people may think that that's great and glorious, but there's no substance to them. Dancing, I wish people used their platforms. Yes, there's a time and place for fun. Don't get me wrong. I can't wait to use my platform to stop talking about such serious things. But right now, this world is fucked up, and our lives are fucked up. Maybe they don't see that. Their little bubble world is dramatic. Can Mom Talk survive this? Oh, God. Just the hypocrisy. Growing up Mormon and then seeing these ladies, it's kind of like, wow. Just don't associate with being Mormon. That's what's made you kind of popular. Anyway, so I listened to a little bit of that, and if anything, it's brought more visibility, and it's kind of interesting because my Earth Angel Project has spoken a lot about the true Mormonism, the darkness behind the actual religion and the beliefs and the how it's impacted people of the LGBTQI LMNOP community and the sexual abuse. And speaking of the sexual abuse, Julie DeAzevedo, she's a therapist in Utah. I met her a few decades ago when she has a beautiful, beautiful voice. She's very talented. She seems like an amazing person, because I fell in love with her when she came to a singles fireside. We were the young single adults in San Antonio, Texas, and we had gotten her to come. Her father is a music composer and did a lot of the Mormon music. And this is like in the 90s, early 2000s. And we got her to come to speak at one of our firesides. And I got to spend some time with her, or one of our conferences, young single adult conferences. And she sang for us. And Masterpiece is my favorite song from her. I don't think she sings anymore, but I've kept her on Facebook, kind of followed her. And my understanding is, and I really liked her 10 years back when I started seeing that she had gone into therapy, and I remember thinking, God, I wish I lived in Utah so that I could go see her as a therapist, because of the kind of therapy she was doing was kind of like healing wounds from what we've been taught in our culture, in our church. And I think she focused also on LGBTQIA, LMNOP, things like that. And so she recently was on Mormon Stories with John DeLay, and I don't think she's been excommunicated. I know she hasn't. She's a good person. John Delaney is a good person, and he got excommunicated. They let child abusers and rapists stay in the church, but an apostate, someone that calls out the church for the truth, they'll excommunicate. That's how fucked up the church is. So anyway, recently she was on his podcast. Or no, not his. She was on another one, Mormon After Dark or something, Mormonism After Dark. And I didn't get to watch all of it. But she kind of spoke about how she's just pretty much left the church. She kind of, like me, I just kind of stopped going. I stopped participating. I don't associate. And now I'm like, I'm not Mormon at all. And I really, really do. I need to go to a notary so that I can get my records removed from the church. I do not like them having me as hopefully they'll excommunicate me when this project comes out. I will gladly be excommunicated from that church. But the reason I bring her up is last night she came up on my feed, which was kind of odd. I hadn't seen her in a while. And let me see if I can pull it up. And I've been covering sex abuse in the Mormon church. I even talked to Julie DeAzevedo Hanks. Oh, she was at UBU. Therapist, coach, consultant, digital content creator, author, speaker, teacher. She should put musician because she's a beautiful musician. Okay, so last night, out of the blue, she comes up on my Facebook feed, and that's part of my Earth Angel project, is I let the universe speak to me, right? I have cleared out people that I don't want on my feed, things that I don't want, I block. She is someone that I like, so I hadn't seen her in a long time, but she hadn't posted in a while. But she posted something from Ben Walters, And it said, in light of the recent Wade Christofferson allegations, and after finding out that a convicted sex offender was recently called to a high council in my former stake in San Antonio, I wanted to make a more organized and detailed post about reducing the risk of repeated sexual abuse cases in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It appears that many are supportive of these ideas and want to know how to encourage change. I have discussed these ideas with my bishop and stake president, who forwarded them to our area authority, and any member reading this can do the same. Ultimately, it is the highest leaders who would need to make these changes, so the more members who successfully get their concerns up this chain of authority, the more likely change will happen. With that in mind, please feel free to share this post if you feel so inclined. I would love to generate a discussion among many people with many different viewpoints. I was an active member of the church, married with 4 young children, and I love the gospel of Jesus Christ. I was a victim of sexual abuse at the hands of a church member who had been previously excommunicated for the same crime. Because of my love for the Savior, I continue to desire a relationship with him, but I want this institution to adopt safer policies so returning repentant sex offenders are less likely to repeat the sin. I want what happened to me to be less likely to happen to any more children, including my own. According to the current version of our church handbook, if a member sexually abuses someone, the following would occur. And this is with references to the handbook sections. If the member never confesses to the crime, even if they are convicted, they may never have church restrictions, since background checks are only performed in select locations currently. They could become a bishop or a general authority. That's what happened in San Antonio. If the member confesses, a disciplinary council would be called. The fate of the member would be determined by a group of men without any input from female members or leaders. Excommunication may occur, but it is not required even for a convicted rapist, since excommunication is only required for murder and plural marriage. If excommunicated, ward and stake leaders are instructed to only communicate the fact that the member was excommunicated for sexual abuse to those who need to know, because they don't want to look bad, especially like in the case of San Antonio, where he became in the high council. If excommunicated, the abuser would be encouraged to volunteer and would have ministering brothers and or sisters assigned to them who typically visit members in their own home. Even if they are a convicted rapist, there is no requirement that the bishop inform those assigned to visit the abuser that they are a sexual predator. The abuser, for example, this happened with Jensen, Michael Jensen. The abuser, for example, could be assigned to clean the chapel at the same Sunday as families with young children, especially if the person assigned cleaning weeks is unaware of the person's past. I have seen this happen in one of my own wards, and after notifying the bishop about it, they thankfully changed the assignment, blah, 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 blah. If they complete the rebaptism process, they would be allowed to participate in any church activity where most members would be unaware of the potential danger they present. A flag would likely be placed on the member's record, which is only visible to a select number of ward and stake leaders. They would be allowed to receive a calling that leaders feel does not allow for direct contact with youth or children. In case of Wade Christofferson, this allegedly meant young single adult bishopric member was safe. I was in the young single adults ward. That's where I was Relief Society president, primary president. That's where I held all my callings. Even though this case involves privately interviewing young adults, and they do, and they talk about our sex life. It's disgusting. In the case in the San Antonio Pecan Valley stake, this meant stake high council member, even Oh, yeah. So in San Antonio, they allowed a stake high council member, even though this calling allows this member to participate in disciplinary councils. So a rapist or a child rapist gets into a calling where he is able to do disciplinary action to other people who may have had sex before marriage or watched pornography. If they are given a calling that requires completion of abuse awareness training, they would be able to function in their calling for a month before having to complete it. A member could sign up to be a substitute primary teacher since the primary president wouldn't be aware of their past. If the member had children who attended activity days, they could offer to provide rides to other children to or from activities, and there's no strict requirement that there be 2 adults in the car since this is only required whenever possible. So that is where we're at in the Mormon Church right now. They protect the predators, not the children. And this is not me being a bitch. This is a loving member writing this. I forwarded it. He goes on. It's so beautifully written. He did an amazing job. And he gives wonderful suggestions. So I'm grateful. It went perfectly with what I was and the one that he was referring to, not the San Antonio High Council, where he was apparently part of, but this happened in Utah. Wade Christofferson. He's the brother of an LDS apostle, federally charged with alleged sexual abuse of a child. To be a part of it, it's like thinking of the Catholic Church, and it would be a cardinal. It's his family member that's abusing. And these apostles get paid over $300,000 a year. People say that they get paid. Fuckers. That's what our tithing goes to. The brother of Latter-day Saint Apostle Todd Christofferson has been charged with sexual exploitation crimes against minors. He's 72 years old. He was booked in Salt Lake City County Jail, which of course we don't hear about, November 20th. And it's vile. You read what he did. At least 20 offenses, including attempting to sexually exploit a minor. 72. With coercion and enticement. At the time of the alleged offense, the child was reported to be between 7 and 8 years old. Enough for Megyn Kelly to be like, okay, then that's bad. The FBI... Christofferson allegedly sexually abused the child 15 to 20 times. This is just one person that we know of. And he's the brother of an apostle. You don't understand how much weight that carries here. He's also accused of engaging in sexually explicit FaceTime call with the second minor victim and sending coded letters to her Utah home that reference sexual activity. Christofferson taught the 7-year-old Utah victim words that indicate sexual explicit content. Letters include top secret messages and coupons. During a search of his house, they were found to have children's writing on the wall along with a mattress, pillow, and blankets, according to the Department of Justice press release. And then on his history, he looked up criminal defense attorney, sex crimes, Columbus, Ohio, because that's where he was at now. And in Ohio, do clergy have to report child abuse confessions? And of course, the church hasn't commented. So just a little heartbreaking, but I just think it's pretty amazing how that kind of all came together, considering the stuff that I have been covering in the Earth Angel Project. And it's funny, on Thursday when my nephew came to pick me up, my nephew is transgender, and was raised in the Mormon church. And we had a really lengthy conversation about that on the drive from Tooele to Orem. And I cried with him at how a church could just tolerate him. Ugh. And, but I told him that I'd been working on this project, and that, you know, the sex abuse thing is something that I could never understand. And, you know, I even told him, you know, we talk about my sister, who is his mother, and, you know, he shared some stuff about their family, and I said, you know, sometimes I wonder if the church had actually done something when we told them about our uncle, you know, how our lives would have been different. I'm not excusing your mother for the things that she's done and how she's projected a lot of her pain onto you guys, but I do have compassion because we were both kids. And instead of going to the police, we went to our church that offered no therapy, nothing. They just ended up excommunicating an inactive member that never even showed up to church anyway. He didn't give a fuck. But anyway, so yeah, a little heavy. And then I transitioned, so that was last night. And then this morning I woke up in the middle of the night, of course, and I saw one of my favorite card readers on Estrella 5D, and it's, you know, same thing. The people are furious, the evil cabal, because the Earth Angel keeps, you know, all the black magic and all the crazy shit and sacrifices that they're doing to try and stop her is not working. And I'm really tired of that part of the storyline. I mean, it's really getting annoying. And honestly, you know, I know that part's fictional or for entertainment purposes only, but in my own life, like, I'm really tired of, you know, not just me, but people in general living paycheck to paycheck, you know, being taught that this is how we're supposed to look, and this is, you know, Black Friday, all this stuff we're supposed to consume. I'm so, as shitty as the last few years have been material-wise, it's really taught me to downsize and to really appreciate and to recognize how little I physically need, and how much easier it is for me to move and focus on myself when I don't have attachments to material things or even job titles. And I don't. I've held pretty high-level job titles, and I am very okay working in a kitchen in a recovery center. I love it. I mean, I wish it wasn't physically so hard on me, but even then, I love that. It keeps me active. It keeps me in good shape. I'm looking amazing. But what I do wish is that it paid me a decent salary so that I could get my own place, so that I could have my daughter with me full time. And right now I'm renting a room. I'm 51 years old. And, you know, do I have to force myself to go back into call centers so that I can make decent money and slave myself away and give all my energy to a company that doesn't give a fuck about me? No, I don't want to do that. So I am grateful that I have learned in this time, but I'm tired, as is the rest of the world. You know, we look at where we're at from a humanity standpoint. I just don't mean politics, but that is part of it. And honestly, guys, I know I focus on Trump a lot. I believe he's the Antichrist. I always have. But it's not even about Democrats or Republicans. It's just, you know, even in this project, I have learned that, you know, I was very much Democrat only. And I look at the picture right now, and the only reason I'm not focusing on them is because they're not the ones in power. Do I see how they cower and they still cater to, I mean, Hakeem Jeffries and Schumer, how they cater to lobbyists and corporate? Yes, I see that. And I'll fucking call it out. But right now, you know, when we're sending billions of my fucking taxpayer, your fucking taxpayer money to kill children in Gaza, fuck you. I'm going to point out the obvious. These immigrants that we're just torturing. One that I posted earlier today, I love her. I've had it podcast. I forgot her name, Jennifer something. But I love this crazy old white lady from Oklahoma. She's not crazy, she's awesome. But she just speaks so clearly and precisely. And you know, she posted this video of this horrible old white lady just torturing this poor brown family that's just leaving a parking garage, and has the audacity to ask them where they are from and why are they here, and then arrogantly say, I was born here. Fuck you, cunt. Oh, I'm okay. I'm sorry. It's Sunday. I need to be a little bit better about how I'm speaking, but it really is disgusting what we've turned into. So, one of the things, because I was on my crazy rant, I had to do a little bit of the crazy evil cabal. And I know that when I post this stuff, likely people are like, oh, now she's gone crazy. And I'm okay with that. I don't give a fuck at this point. But there was one on David Icke. Am I saying his name correctly? And it was, of course, exposes Trump, Epstein, and Ball elites. And it's this guy here. And, I mean, part of the project is listening to all sorts of different podcasts from all sorts of different people. Doesn't mean I agree with everything that they say, but some of the stuff that they talk about is pretty fucking amazing. And it ties into the Earth Angel Project. Well, hold on. Possess them the entire time, but appropriate time, shall we say. He speaks about, and I wish more people would listen to this, because most people are just like, it's crazy banana shit, right? Even if you still want to worship Trump or Epstein or whatever, listening to how the entities, of course this is for entertainment purposes only, how they feed off of fear, how they feed off of, you know, he gives this really great example of, okay, it's called David Exposes Trump, Epstein, Ball, and the Elites. Okay, that's on my page. But he talks about, you know, he's given the Wi-Fi reference too, how like if we were to try and explain Wi-Fi to someone, you know, 200 years ago, they would say we're crazy, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist just because you can't see it. It's so hard for people to understand that there is, you know, even though we live in this world that where we see is only what we see, it's a certain frequency, it doesn't mean that there isn't other things around us that are impacting us. And he's claiming that these elites and people that have this esoteric knowledge are aware of that and use dark entities and dark forces and negative frequencies to keep us repressed, to keep us low, so that entities from another realm can feed off of it. It's like Monsters Inc., you know, like scaring the child so that they can get that energy off of us. And the child not even realizing that's what's happening to them. So he kind of gives that description, but there was one that he said, and I remember And it's so indicative of what's happening here. And even in my project, I have to be very careful because it's so easy to go down a rabbit hole and only focus on one thing. But we're there, even like mom talk. It's so easy to get absorbed in that bullshit. And I don't want to just pick on mom talk or the secret lives of Mormon wives, but like the reality, the women's real housewife shit. You watch that stuff like it's real. And you're so desensitized to what is actually going on. Like, these are people that are claiming to be a part of a church that is an active cover-up for pedophiles. And they have been for years. And in this crazy Earth Angel Project, satanic abuse that has happened in Utah, in their temples, like crazy shit. But we're so focused on, and he talks about how these entities, what they do is, it's like your peripheral vision. When you start to awaken, when you start to see things for what they truly are, when you start to learn about the church and you understand that Joseph Smith was a warlock, a magician, literally a magician. He dabbled in dark arts. What do you think the Seeing Stone crystal ball was? I mean, he literally was a magician that uses Masonic temple ordinances. And you start to look at all those pictures. You become awakened and you start to realize what the fuck is going on. But what these entities are trying to do is trying to get you focused on one thing. And it's like, when you're focused on one thing, you look like Cash Patel with the cockeye, right? And you can't see all the other shit that's around you. And that's what they keep doing. They keep trying to especially lately, because the darkness is so heavy right now. I do believe this. I know this is for entertainment purposes only, but I honestly believe that we are on the cusp of greatness. I honestly believe we are on the cusp of exposing and dethroning horrible, dark presences that are in our life right now. And they're doing anything and everything, balls to the wall, setting fires in Japan to sacrifice over 175 people now. Like, it is, the spiritual warfare is fucking intense. Even if you don't believe in spirituality, you have to admit, like right now, the level of exposure that we have, you see Trump, you see him falling apart. He is rotting. He is losing his shit. There is a reason why he is telling people to shut up. Are they stupid? Piggy. That's what happens when people are losing their fucking mind, because they're losing control. And they're about to be exposed. So we are on that cusp. And right now, many people don't want that to be exposed. And I really hope someday to have a platform. If I have a voice and I have a message for people to hear. And I think I have a way of telling that story and sharing that message, not just through myself, but through other people's experiences. And I wish I had a platform. That's my hope, is to, when I have my platform, that I'm able to share what I've learned with everyone, if they want to know the truth. If they want to hear it, I don't care about the criticism. You don't think I've gone through criticism my whole life? You don't think I've doubted myself enough? I don't give a fuck what people are going to say or what people would think about. I mean, why do you think I post every day on this Earth Angel Project? I get no responses. None. No one gives a... As a matter of fact, I lose friends on Facebook every time I post. And I'm okay with that. Thanks for taking the trash out. Thanks for not believing in me. Maybe you should go look in the mirror. And I wish more people would use their platforms to share more authentic stories. And I remember I was listening to this Mom Talk podcast, and they're like, oh, this, I don't even know what her name is, she's so authentic. And I'm just like, don't confuse authenticity with truth. I mean, that's what they would say about Trump. Oh, he's so authentic. Like, no. Yeah, I mean, you can see he's a cunt. You can see he truly doesn't value anyone but himself. He says what he thinks. But is that good? Is that what you admire? I mean, I admire people that say what they think, but I like when they are actually of the light, not of the dark. When they don't let their obsession for money and clout and relevancy. I mean, I kind of see that girl like Trump. You know, she just wants so bad to be relevant. Bless her heart. And I can see that, being raised Mormon, how important that is. I really do. And it makes me sad for her and for her children. But I really do hope people, especially these days, use their platform not to promote materialism and, you know, what's the word? Aesthetic, you know, how we look, how tan we are, how blonde. I remember my niece Katie, who's a Trump lover, I know she meant it as a compliment, and these women would never agree, but there was one day I was dressed super cute in my leggings, and I had my Dutch coffee, and I had my, you know, Lexus SUV, and Poncho was and she's like, oh my God, you look like one of those Utah moms. And I was like, this was when I was in Texas, and I'm like, is that a compliment? She's like, oh yes, they're so pretty. And I'm like, oh, well, thank you. I'm a little too brown for that, but I know she meant it as a compliment. Anyway, so heavy stuff that I've been covering. And then there was, so I posted David Icke. Oh, there was another one last night. Moreno, the Catholic priest that was murdered by the Vatican. I said what I said. Holy shit. And I really liked the guy that, it wasn't David Icke, it was another one. Arnett. David Arnett. He does some really good work. Really exposes a lot about the Catholic Church. But man, that story is fucked up. But it does make me happy, because I really do believe that this stuff will be exposed. I think there's a reason why a lot of this stuff is all coming up and coming out now. And I've been grateful for this project, for me to put it together. And it does help me to, you know, look at my life and think, well, you know, I relate a lot of things to my life and my growth, but I also know that, yes, I have gone through some shit, but I haven't gone through the shit that these guys have. And if I could use my platform in any way, it would be to bring justice for the things that people who have tried to do the right thing, have been punished for. So, anyway, that's my dream, and that's my hope for the Earth Angel Project, is to just tell the truth as I see it, as Source tells me, as I channel the Earth Angel, you know, that I can hopefully inspire other people that have struggled like I have with addictions and self-worth, and getting out of a toxic community, a toxic church, a toxic family, you know, that I've survived the death of a child, that I'm surviving separation from my current daughter, you know, like, and I can still be, although foul-mouthed, I can still be loving. I can still be light. I can still use what I've been through to help others, not harm. These are the kind of people we need on platforms. People like me, people like hopefully anyone that's watching this, if they are, and they have a story to share. I was telling my nephew Max, like, that's the power of, that's what I want to teach people, is how to transmute our pain, our stories, into art, into love, into blessings. It's like that Monsters Inc., you know, it doesn't have to be made out of nightmares. We get so much more abundance out of laughter, out of love, out of art, when we're not poisoning foods and, you know, and we're cooking like our ancestors did. I think I'm going to make some arroz con leche tonight. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I've been, 50 minutes. Walk with your feet on the earth, but your heart in heaven. Don Bosco. Embodying the light. In my 20s, I mentally understood spiritual principles, could put my mind to most things, heard the callings of my soul, and was in touch with my emotions. You're well ahead of me, baby. But I was not embodying any of it. My mind, body, spirit, and soul were working in silos, not flowing in harmony. Like people who live in the same house but never see each other or socialize, I was not grounding my beliefs in a disciplined way. I was truly living in the flow of it. I wasn't truly living in the flow of it. That was until one of my worst nightmares came true. Ever since the day I pulled that first Hay House book off the shelf, Louise Hay became my Oprah. Madonna, Beyonce, Stevie Nicks, and Tina Turner all rolled into one. In the autumn of 2009, I was at the Hay House event in London with my friend Julianne Geldhill, who had flown in from Singapore. Tracy Reed, the CEO of Hay House, and Cheryl Richardson were speaking with surprise guest Louise Hay. At that time in my life, I had 2 feet in advertising, but deep down, I knew I had a message to share. In one of the breaks, as everyone else was hanging around and forming the I Love You Louise Club, I was trying to look extremely cool by hanging back. Meanwhile, the whole time I was experiencing the most tense surge of energy racing through my body with a voice from the depths of my soul that beckoned. Go ask Louise for a job. Not normally someone who does that kind of thing, I resisted it. The next day, the same thing happened. It was as though I was being physically propelled towards Pope Leo. It was like I was being physically propelled forward. Unable to resist it anymore, I took a breath, cringing on the inside, cursing my soul, spirit guides, and all at once, I made my way to Louise. Each time she became free, I held back and let someone else go ahead. It was as if my soul and spirit were pushing me, but my body and ego were resisting. The moment the final person started walking away, I took my deep breath and started walking towards Louise, but unable to control my energy, I literally bowled her over. Oh my God. Regaining her balance, Louise then looked me right in the eye and she said, "Girl, don't attack people with your energy." I was mortified. My life was definitely over. While wishing I could disappear off the face of the earth, I made my way back to my seat and pretended like nothing happened. For the rest of the afternoon, I played this situation over and over in slow motion in my head. Was it really that bad? Yes, it was. Did I really bow over Louise Hay? Yes, you did. Cringe. Later at dinner, I confessed the story to Julie while holding back tears of horrification. Julie thought it was the funniest thing she'd ever heard and continues to tease me for it to this day. Anyway, I tell you that story because it was actually a huge turning point in my journey. I had always been connected to my soul and spirit, received my creative ideas, intuition, and my soul's calling clearly, but I wasn't grounded in any of my body with action. In other words, my very active mind, body, and spirit weren't talking to each other. So when I heard my soul's calling, I didn't embody them with action. And when I received guidance or creation, I didn't always let it flow through me. I was receiving all this stuff from the higher realms, but had no idea what to do with it, so I decided to ignore it. This caused a huge buildup of energy that needed to come out somehow, and my mind, body, spirit, and soul were not in union. I was out of the flow. Louise's simple remarks sparked a whole new path for me in embodying my spirit and the callings of my soul. Prior to this encounter, I thought the mind, body, spirit connection was about strengthening these three parts of us. What this experience revealed is that it is impossible to follow our highest path without energetic integration, and it's difficult not only to hear but act on the callings of our soul if we haven't grounded ourselves in regular disciplined practice. In this new chapter of my journey, I sought spiritual teachers to help me harness the subtle yet powerful energies of spirit and anchor them in my body. I've included the ones that work best for me in this section. Try them out and see which one resonates for you. She's got a light and she knows how to use it. Non-negotiable spiritual practice. You cannot hear the callings of your soul if you do not carve out time to listen to them without daily, non-negotiable spiritual practice. It took me till 2012 to wholeheartedly show up to this practice every day without fail, and it was the best decision I ever made. This one thing has created the transformation in my life. Committing to showing up to your soul is like putting a message to the universe saying, I'm serious about this and I'm ready to be supported. That's me working on this Earth Angel project for 2 years straight, every fucking day. I used to be a total dabbler. I threw myself into loads of different practices, but I often felt overwhelmed with all the stuff I should be doing. Meditation, journaling, yoga, cutting cords, you name it, I tried it. It felt like I needed a whole extra life just to get it all done. And because I didn't have a routine of showing up without failing every day, when I had a super crappy or busy day, my spiritual practice was the first thing to slide. Amen, sister. But it was then that I needed my practice the most. We say that in recovery. When you don't want to go to the meetings, that's when you should go. Committing to the discipline of daily practice doesn't mean you have to meditate for hours or even one. It just means that you show up to something every day without fail. My basic practice takes no more than 20 minutes a day and consists of 3 things. Light sourcing, first light sourcing, second prayer, and third chanting, dancing, or walking in nature. It is simple and realistic enough that no matter where I am or what I've got going on, there is no excuse not to do it. The more I show up, the more my life turns into one big practice, into one big moving prayer. I love that. Whenever a client comes to me wanting change, this is always the first thing I recommend. Your soul is waiting to guide you. The universe is ready to support you in every step along the way. But in order to connect to it, you need to show up. Work your light. Do you currently have a daily spiritual practice that you show up to every day? That is me journaling this Earth Angel project. And some days I talk about the evil cabal. Other days I talk about what I learned about energy. There was something I posted that was really cool about how your emotions connect with different organs in your body. Stuff that I would never ever have paid attention to before. But because of this project, I have opened my mind and my heart to. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I started this project. As silly as it seemed, it has really changed my life. The quieter you become, the more you are able to hear. Light sourcing, light earth. Okay, light bath. These are a lot I'm going to mess with later. I'm going to read later, but I'm going to go ahead and close it now. I'm going on an hour. Holy crap. This is my daily prayer, my journaling, my processing, and I'm really grateful for this project. I'm so grateful for my spiritual journey. I'm grateful for my ancestors. I'm grateful for drinking from a fire hose and learning to breathe underwater. I really, truly am. And I would encourage anyone to take on their own spiritual journey, no matter how that looks, and use your platform, use your voice for good. Focus on your healing, and you give so much light to others. Anyway, I love you. I hope you have a sacred Sunday, and I will be back. Bye.